Hey, I'm Tamsin. This is Carly, and we travel around Australia in Calypso, our motorhome. Together, we make destination sacred grounds.
Are you wanting to live van life, but don't feel it'll be quite safe enough for you to do so? Or perhaps you're already living the van lifestyle, but just want some tips and pointers on how to feel really safe. In this vlog, I'm going to take you through a safety checklist suitable for all the van lifers on the road, more so for those of you who want to free camp. Paid campgrounds and caravan parks usually have that level of safety, more people, enclosed area, which allows you to feel safer. But I'm also going to provide you the checklist in a Word document so you can take it with you and adapt accordingly. Now, I have been living van life for almost a year and a half, and although I'm no expert, I am alive to tell the story. There was one isolated incident when I was parked up in Sydney, however, and I was just starting to go to sleep, but my intuition told me something was wrong, and therefore I couldn't actually quite go to sleep. I heard some noises outside. I heard some banging outside. I looked out the window and there were some young people drinking. They were coming up, banging on Calypso, running back to see if they'd get a reaction, to see if anyone was inside, to see if they could potentially break in. That is my assumption. But I thought I had to do something about it. Otherwise, they were going to keep going and they were probably going to enter the vehicle. So I made a really loud bang, smashed up against the top, made a loud noise and stomped down as hard as I could to make that like extra sound. And they had run off. The thing is, they had come back in a car and they were smashing bottles at Calypso. Now, before we move on to the next section, which is the checklist, I want to let you know that you need to stick around to the end because I found some other beautiful solo female van lifers who share their #1 hot safety tip just for you. Let's get this show on the road. I've added a few different sections into the safety plan, with the first one being travel preparation. Research your destination. This is a huge one. Things that you need to consider are Wikicamp reviews, Facebook camping groups, Google reviews, any other online groups that you might find beneficial. You need to talk to people who have gone to your chosen destination. Other things that you need to consider. Does this destination have Wi-Fi and reception? Is it secluded? How far away from you from help, like essential services, police, medical centers? What about other accommodation options? If something goes wrong, you need a plan B. Always need a plan B. How do you feel when checking out this destination? What's your gut tell you? Really check in with self. What is the exact location? Write this down and maybe give this to family or friends so they know where you are. Have you checked local council for any safety concerns? Have you checked local weather warnings? Have you researched your route? The next one would be packing the essential. Now, this is going to change with whatever it is that you need personally for yourself. But some of the basics include phone charger, options to charge the phone, emergency contact numbers, including the police, food and water supplies, first aid supplies, indoor toilet options so that you don't have to go outside to pee in the dark, potentially when there could be more risks. Medications, knowledge of your van and basic tools. I am guilty. I still need to work on this. This is a really important aspect. Keep this in mind. Now, rolling into your destination is super important. What is the vibe that you get when rolling in? What can you visually see? Are there bins overflowing? Has the place been cleaned up? Do people appear polite and respectful? Are there amenities and have they been taken care of? And is there room for you to pull up? Setting up camp. There are so many things to consider when setting up camp. Some important aspects are, is there a shady spot for you if it's really hot? Is it windy or stormy? And if so, don't park under trees. Make sure, this is crucial, make sure you park up with the front facing towards the exit. So if anything happens, you can have a quick getaway. Ensure your valuables are kept relatively out of the way. You don't want to be exposing everything you have on offer for everybody else. Preparing for the evenings is another really important aspect. So have you packed away all of your items from outside? Have the things that you have inside been put away? Have you closed your blinds or curtains? Do you have block-out shades so that you can close off from the outside world? Are your keys easily accessible? It's good to develop a good nightly routine where the keys go in the same place every single night in case of emergencies. After your stay, review for other people so other people get to know a little bit about this destination and other people can feel safe or take precautions as per required. Another really important aspect that I wanted to cover, especially for the solo female van lifers, is weapons. Not something that I really considered too much of because I don't ever want to harm another human being, but I recognized safety is paramount. I also recognize by doing checklists and being really self-aware, you can avoid a situation from happening in the first place. But when I had that isolated incident, many women were saying, what's your weapon of choice? What do you have that you can use? There were loads of options, believe me, and these groups are great for that. The one thing that I reflected on was having things in the van which are intended for other purposes, which could be used in an emergency to protect myself and keep safe. One, for example, is this right here, the fire extinguisher. Another one is the use of sprays, fly sprays, deodorants, whatever you might have handy. Now I come across wasps every now and then, and sometimes it's good to have protection for wasps. This baby is sprayed 6 meters ahead of you. And if by chance there was an emergency and you needed to use something that was close to you to defend yourself, this could potentially be an option. This is your choice. I cannot advise you against or for what you choose to do. Check though the legalities in your own state as to how you can protect yourself in emergency situations. I'm now going to pass you over to Charlene Louise for her number 1 tip.
Hi, my name is Charlene. I have been a solo traveler for about 1.5 years now. And one thing that I would definitely recommend while traveling on your own is to always know your exact location. Before I would go to bed at night, I would find exactly where I am on my maps, so that way if anything were to happen and I needed to call someone for help in an emergency, I know exactly where I am. And when I first started traveling, I sort of wasn't really aware of this, and I didn't really think twice about it. But that is definitely something that I highly recommend for anyone traveling solo. Just stay as safe as you can, and if something doesn't feel right, don't do it, because your gut never lies. If you would like to follow my adventures of me traveling and working around Australia, you can follow me on YouTube. My name is Charlene Louise.
That is a really good tip, Charlene, and I recognise personally for myself that isolated incident that I had, I rang the police and they actually went to the wrong destination. I told them where I was, but they still found a park that had the same name and went somewhere else. So great tip, thank you. I will now hand you over to Wendy from Herbal Medicine Secrets.
Hello, I'm Wendy from Herbal Medicine Secrets and Natural Woman Network. Hi Tamsin and hi Tamsin's tribe. Now Tamsin asked me to say one safety tip that I'd like to give. I live full-time on the road, and this is Bertha, or Medicine Wheels is her work name, and my company headquarters. So one tip I'd like to share, and there are many, but one tip for safety is to grow your confidence. And you can do that by learning what you need to learn about your vehicle and about where you're going and where you can get help if you need it. Learn what your vehicle's capable of, so that when you do get into a hotspot, which occasionally happens, not very often, you'll know what to do and you'll be able to use your intuition more instead of coming from a place of fear. And growing your confidence also helps you become stronger in your boundaries about people and places, because you'll be able to feel better in yourself if you understand where you're going in your journey and what your vehicle's capable of. So just make sure you spend a bit of time before you go getting a good mechanical checkup, getting a body checkup and an internal checkup of whatever vehicle you're using. Know what's going to happen ahead of time as far as maintenance goes, anything that needs to be done, so that you can be prepared and then you can just enjoy yourself. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for that tip, Wendy. That is really good advice. And I recognize that since being in Calypso, I was quite clueless to begin with, and I wouldn't have had half the problems that I had if I would have known more about Calypso. I still need to learn more. So please take that on board, everyone. That's a really important tip. All right, I'm going to hand you over to my beautiful friend, Meredith.
Hello DSG Tribe members, how are you? My name is Meredith. I'm a friend of Tamsin, also a nomad, and live in a motorhome here in Western Australia. So hi from WA. So Tamsin contacted me to see if I can give her a top tip for safety. Not something I usually subscribe to be honest. There's nothing to fear when you're in a motorhome. I think sometimes it gets a little bit hyped up, but there's actually really safe as houses. So, but there is one thing that I do that would consider as a safety tip, being a single woman as well. Every night before I go to bed, my awning goes in, my camp chairs come in, everything comes in to the van. So should I have to leave anywhere in the middle of the night, I just jump in the car and off I go. So yeah, I think that's probably the one thing that I would do. But honestly, there's nothing to be frightened of. It. Don't let it inhibit you, because there's just nothing but wonderful people out on the road. Just let your gut guide you. If you pull over to a weird place out in the middle of nowhere and go, it doesn't feel right, then move. Just ask your gut, and your intuition will guide you all the way.
This is a really good tip, and I also recognize that there is this big perceived threat with women going on the road and living van life. A lot of the time, there are no issues. It is safe. There are risks, and that's normal, but it's a perceived threat that seems bigger than the actual situation. Now, you've probably started to see a pattern emerging from these beautiful solo female van lifers, and that is my number one tip: intuition. Checking in with self, checking in with the environment, and recognizing any potential dangers that might be about. When you're in tune with yourself and your environment, these things will spark up and you will know what you need to do. If you need to get out, stay, move early, not go there in the first place. The other really important factor that I need to mention here is feeling safe from within. When we don't feel safe from within, for whatever reason, trauma, perhaps, violence that have occurred against us, we don't feel safe to begin with. And this is where I really recommend checking in with self, and maybe even seeing a counselor or talking to someone or doing some inner work to allow you to start to feel safe on the outside as well as the inside. If you've gotten anything out of this vlog, give it a like and maybe share with someone else who might benefit. Subscribe to the channel to support me put out these videos, and you can take it a step further and support me on my Ko-fi page by shouting me a coffee from as little as $3. The other thing I wanted to mention briefly before I head off is staying present is staying safe. So until next time, stay safe, stay present.
But don't be frightened. This is a fun life. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful, wonderful life, and you want it. All right. Don't forget to also hit that little button down there for Tammy to subscribe to her channel, because she does an awesome job. And then just because we get something more as well, there is a little bell there. You bang on that, and that will tell you when she posts next. And then hit the big thumbs up button. Smash it.